Nobody has an umbrella around here. Everybody, every chance they get, because it looks hot and it looks sexy for, the clothes to cling onto their perfect bodies, they stay in that rain.
I have not broken your heart. You have broken it. And in breaking it, you've broken mine.
There's an umbrella right here, man. But it don't look as good. Like, it rains when the sun is out.
Yeah, well,
they stay in that rain.
It's England. I mean, I just figure it probably just rains there all the time.
Well, you should have an umbrella ready. But when you as sexy as me, it looks better this way. Get your tickets for me back at the Broadway Comedy Club for a night of sit-down comedy. That's going to be April 17th, 9 p.m. show. That's Saturday, by the way. You can get your tickets by going to doubletoastedny.com, or you can go to doubletoasted.com and get your tickets over there. So let me tell you a little story, man. Classic story. So we got a little boy named Heathcliff. And,
the cat?
No, not the cat. Smooth as a cat, though. Heathcliff the cat daddy. He might take your title, man. Yeah, Heathcliff. Little boy got adopted by a mean old man. But good thing there's a cute little girl that he moved in with, who only got finer with age. That's the only reason he stayed around, got the ass whoopings. Because he said, this girl is fine. Yeah,
I can tell what she's going to be when she
I ain't going nowhere. I get my ass beat every day for this. Girl grew up to like Margot Robbie. Robbie. No, Robbie, because I want to take it off. Margot Robbie over here. Yeah. And she plays Catherine. And good thing he grew up to be a really good-looking, handsome guy. To be the hairy scrub that he was before, the hairy servant boy, and he could have got it then. She didn't mind, but he had this whole thing. He was like, no, I want to be somebody. I need to go out in the world and make my fortune. And that's exactly what he does, man. He puts it off and says, you know what, I got plans, girl. Just hold up, I'll be back. And he goes out there, makes a fortune, becomes a gentleman, and says, baby, I'm back. And she's like, God damn it, I'm married. Yeah. You don't understand, in Victorian age, it's like, I got until maybe 21 to find a husband. Otherwise, I'm a spinster. Spinster, yeah. I'm an old school marm at that point. So, sorry, man. I mean, I know you left last week, but he's like, God damn it. Yeah, I had to marry somebody with money.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was on. I saw the ass whoops he gave you.
Well, he was gone for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, how long was he was gone for a while.
Wait.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I got to get some. I had to find a man, and somebody came up with money, who's in the neighborhood, and I had to marry him. And this is the story about them and their love for each other is so great that you would think like, oh, this is going to be a great romance right here. This is going to be about how love withstood the test of time. Well, maybe it did, but their sanity did not. They lost their goddamn minds. This is that story about how love will drive you crazy.
You ever read Wuthering Heights?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Wuthering Heights, everybody. This is based on the Emily Bronte novel. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was Charles Dickens, but then I realized Charles Dickens.
You think he wrote everything for the Victorian age?
If you wear knickerbockers and all that kind of stuff,
a ruffly shirt must be Charles Dickens.
If you wearing some pirate stuff, Charles Dickens, baby. Yeah. So this is based on that novel, classic piece of literature. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for the recent adaptation of Wuthering Heights. So, we told you this is based on a classic piece of literature by Emily Bronte. Thing is with this book, if you strip away all that fancy prose and all this pretense of literature and You know, all the these and thous. Why have you made me yearn for you so much, my lady, and all that kind of stuff. It's really a soap opera. In fact, when it was written at the time, Emily Bronte was very young. She was just kind of writing what she thought she knew about sex. Mm-hmm. It was fan fiction.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
In a way. Like seriously, no, listen, it's well written and whatnot, but really when you strip it all away, man, it's a soap opera. I was saying this other night, if you put this in Spanish, it'd be a telenovela in a way. And it's been reduced that even more because they've taken some of the story out and streamlined it for a certain reason.
Oh, for this movie? They've taken a lot out.
Yeah. I had to read this in high school. And even then, I was like, this ain't nothing but some old sex fantasy for some girl, trying to make it all romantic. But that's what they want to play up here. If you really want to think about it, I don't know, Martin, you might disagree, but I kind of saw this as it's Bridgerton with a touch of 50 Shades of Grey, directed by Tim Burton. And I say, I'll go through and explain this to you because listen, it's like Bridgerton in that it's a period piece. You know, with all the costume design and the set design and all the great imagery of a period piece, but it's also like 50 Shades of Grey because it centers on obsessive eroticism, or tries to at least, that actually drives people to act crazy, kind of like your boy Grey, whatever his name was.
Yeah, Christian Grey.
Christian Grey. Also, it has the use of modern music in there, similar to 50 Shades of Grey. Charlie XCX, she does a lot of the music in here. And I say it's like Tim Burton because just the imagery in this is very, just a lot of the cinematography reminded me of a Tim Burton movie. Mm-hmm. There's even a lot of checkered floors and even some kind of gothic looks to this, even though it's Victorian age.
I wasn't thinking Tim Burton so much, but there were scenes that took me back to his Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Alice in Wonderland. He just.
And I always forget, about that one, because Hemmendinger mentioned Tim Burton, and I guess when I think of Tim Burton, I think of a certain look. But when I think to Alice in Wonderland, some of this stuff made me think of that.
It did with me too. And I'll touch on talk about the look of this movie in a little bit. But so one of the things that they slimmed this movie down for is for the erotic aspect of it. But I'm curious to see how you feel about this because I feel like they are pushing this for Valentine's Day. They are trying to reach that.
This marketing is all wrong for this movie.
It is.
It's completely wrong. And I get it because Wuthering Heights is known as one of the, not only like one of the great literary novels, but it's also famous for being an epic love story.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it. Yeah, it's got the soap opera element, but it goes on, it covers generations. And here, what Emerald Fennell, the director, has done, because some people have looked at it as, it's such a great love story, and other people have a more modern take going like, I don't know, man, this is kind of toxic. And she went more the toxic way where she took out everything else and just focused on, this is about two very toxic people and how them getting together makes it bad for everybody around them. Well, and it's mostly just like, wow, this is all cruel and up. Yeah, and the love, there's eroticism, but the love story is not really there. It's superseded by.
I think that the story slimmed it down to be erotic, and as wild as this movie is, I don't think they push it enough.
Somebody else, I read that from somebody else.
I think it's more flirting with the idea. Man, this is like a chick who trying to act like she wants to go, she wants to get down, but she ain't had no experience. So she's acting like she's kind of more sexy than what she really is. So she's flirting and trying to, acting all sexy. And then when you try to push it a little further, she's like, no, I don't know if I want to do that. So that's the kind of movie that this is. It's like, it's more flirting with the erotic side of things, which it has taken all this stuff out the book to do, to center on that, just to get y'all to come to the movie theater because it wants to get that 50 Shades of Grey audience in there. Yeah. But and I'm not saying it's like I want to see this or anything. I'm just saying with the movie what it's trying to do, and it's afraid to commit to it. It actually does not want to go there. Some of this feels like the sexed up fan fiction of a 16-year-old are those middle-aged women who find something like 50 Shades of Grey more tasteful because they're afraid to watch porn.
Yeah.
Even softcore porn, they think about, if I can make it into a book, then it makes it more culturally acceptable. Actually, it's floating somewhere between 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight.
Well, that's what 50 Shades of Grey is.
Yeah, it's just a more perverted version of Twilight.
It's Twilight fan fiction.
But 50 Shades of Grey, for as much as I hate that movie, it goes there in some parts, at least for that crowd. Look, shit, you leave it up to me, I'll make a triple X movie.
I mean, why are we bullshitting?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't waste no time. But, for that audience, it pushes it. It goes there. It does a couple of things, and then it goes back to trying to be cutesy like Twilight right there. So, and what happens as a result of that, those attempts to be hot and erotic, they end up kind of looking silly in some parts. Lots of fingering of anything but people. Fingering food. There's a part where they're fingering egg yolks, and they spend a whole lot of time.
Yeah, dipping their fingers in egg yolks and moving around.
Yeah. Just massaging bread. Fingering bread dough. Fingering fish and Jello. Look at that. Yeah, exactly. That fish dick just got on. Man, there's even a point they eating grass like dogs. I mean, some of this is like, come on, man. Yeah. All right, y'all bullshitting now. This audience, for y'all who are expecting to go in, because this is going to be pitched to y'all as kind of the softcore porn version of this book, and it's really not that.
Oh no! If that's the pitch, it doesn't go there. I mean, they have their sex. Well, I would say sex scenes, more like a sex montage.
Yeah.
That heavily. It pretty much says like they're having sex, which the book was never going to go there. But it's like her saying like, well, this is what was really happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I'm putting it out there. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't take it to that level. It's just more like, well, this is racier than the book. But it's like, I don't know. It's the kind of thing where it's taken a certain part of the book and focusing only on that at the sacrifice of everything else. So you're not really getting a true sense of what it's actually about.
No.
And like I said, the whole time watching it, I was just like, there's just nobody to root for in this movie.
No, there's not.
I mean, there's like one good person in it, but then in the book, that person is not.
Yeah.
So,
boy, they even tried to show you how silly they get with trying to make things sexy. Except, like I said, this is what I'm talking about. They just bullshit and trying to make everything sexy. I just want to kiss my fish. Maybe it's that country song. That dude finally kissing his fish right there. They making
boy's finger in the fish.
Yeah. They making damn grass, fish, bread dough, all that sexy. They even except doing it with people, except for a couple of parts, like Martin said, they do. But but again, it's not to the extent that I think that they were probably hoping to go, and the audience would hope to go. But there's even a scene, and I'm not going to say where it is, but there's a scene where they even try to make a hanging hot. You know what I'm talking about? There's a part where they somebody's hanging and they making while they're hanging, they're going, there's somebody dying from a hanging and making sex sounds. And then they cut to the image, and this person, they look like they got a bag over their head, but it's centered on the mouth. Yeah. So it looks like they're they look like a gimp mask or a glory hole or a sex doll or something. They center so much in the mouth. You want to put something in there.
Yeah.
While this person's being hung and dying. And I was like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous, man. Right there. Making a hanging hot.
It's interesting the comparisons you make to 50 Shades of Grey and especially Twilight, because there's always people have read the book and reading it, they thought it was going to turn out that Heathcliff was a vampire. Just he had a certain air about him, which makes go back to Twilight. But he is like Edward Collins and Christian Grey.
Yeah, he's obsessive.
Yeah. He's obsessive.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to touch on that a little bit.
And the way he just kind of teleports out of nowhere, and he's right there.
Oh, yeah. No, this dude, all this stuff that you're talking about, don't worry about it. I'm going to get to it, because I'm just getting to some of the stuff that is weird about this and some of the good things. Hey, listen, I thought the cast is great. The actors are fine. The characters I'm not fully into. I like them as kids.
Yeah.
And now, the reason why I say this is because as kids, they this is where, I was making fun of myself talking about this is Charles Dickens, but it does have a Dickens type start to it, where Heathcliff is adopted by this abusive, drunken old miser who's also a gambling addict and terrible at it. If you ever read the book, you know where that goes. Him and Catherine are growing closer as kids, protecting each other. That's very sweet against the this abusive guardian that they have. Now, as adults, first of all, they're not as convincing, especially Catherine, because Catherine is Heathcliff. He's matured, as you can see. Heathcliff's like, shit, man. Look, and I got to go out there and get my life right. I've been growing up getting my ass beat by this abusive father. I got ambitions now. He's matured.
Well, only because he's at a point where he's moping.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he spends a lot of time moping anyway.
Oh yeah.
Once that final rejection, he's like, well then fine.
Well, and that's because women like that too.
Oh yeah.
That
tall,
guy.
dark, and brooding.
Yeah.
And handsome. I was like, get the.
Yeah. Cheer your ass up. That's why she marry somebody else. Cause your sad ass. I don't want to deal with this shit. You had some, but nobody want to deal with this shit every day.
Mumbling all the time.
Yeah. But he talks better than that. I mean, it's like Porky Pig. But I get it. Heathcliff lived that hard life. He's got to get his life together. Catherine is just a brat through this whole thing,
yeah,
man.
You see her as a little girl as a brat, and you're like, well, she'll grow out of this, and she gets worse.
She gets worse. When she was actually better when she was a kid, she was kind of responsible. When she gets to be an adult, she's jumping around all over the place, waking people up in the morning like she's damn 11 years old. And, I get some of that. She didn't have to have the hard life that Heathcliff did. And I like the young Heathcliff because it's played by the dude that was in Adolescence, this guy, Owen Cooper. He plays, he's not in the movie a long time, but when he's in there, he's good. But the other thing is, something else I don't buy with them as adults is that they still behave like they were when they were kids. Oh, we're just friends, even though there's some tension between them. But I'm supposed to believe that y'all have been just friends this whole time? As fine as she is and as horny as she is? I'm like, nah, man, you would have hit that years ago. Y'all would have played doctor or something.
Well, they're in Victorian or whatever society where, she has to be a lady. And that was always a part of her character, just trying to be a lady and do what was proper, even though she was a wild child.
Well, this movie, she ain't that way. In this movie, she goes off. She's horny at everything. Everything makes her horny. Like I said, bread makes her horny. This dude looks good enough where she wouldn't be able to control herself as horny as she is. And she's fine as hell. I'm like, I do not buy for a minute that y'all didn't do nothing at all. Maybe some behind the scenes stuff they tell us in the movie, but they didn't show it. I'm like,
but
nah.
That dad was always right behind him.
Yeah.
I see you over there.
He was, the way they always sneaking off, they were always going off in the woods and said, no, you would have done something. Nah, I didn't buy that at all. But I do. I do like the Dickens type shift in power dynamics. That's what was cool about a lot of Charles Dickens stories. You'd have somebody go off who was their own version of the underdog, and they go off and get rich and come back and just say, all y'all.
Right.
Heathcliff is going off. He's going from poor servant boy to rich aristocrat, and I like that story right there.
I wish they told us how he did that.
I thought I missed something.
Because within 3 years, he went from being the whipping boy to coming back rich and buying the place.
Yeah.
I was like, need a little bit more detail on how that happened.
I missed something. I was like, okay, they didn't explain nothing. He said, don't. In fact, there was even a moment like, how'd you get your money? Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Next. But I like that story. All this erotic stuff is like sometimes that shit can get in the way of a good story. It's like, okay, I don't mind it if it fits into the story, but like you said, we don't learn how he got rich. We don't learn anything about these characters except that they're so love that they're crazy. So I didn't buy the chemistry between him and Catherine.
I didn't either.
They never had a chance to get close. They're mostly just teasing, or they mostly got romantic visuals going on where that women would like, oh, he's carrying her in the rain. Oh, it's so sexy and wet. And by the way, they stay in that rain. Nobody has an umbrella around here. Everybody, every chance they get, because it looks hot and it looks sexy for, the clothes to cling onto their perfect bodies. They stay in that rain.
I have not broken your heart. You have broken it. And in breaking it, you've broken mine.
There's an umbrella right here, man. But it don't look as good. Like it rains when the sun is out.
Yeah, well,
they stay in that rain.
It's England. I mean, I just figure it probably just rains there all the time.
Well, you should have an umbrella ready. But when you as sexy as me, it looks better this way.
Something funny is that I think Jacob Elordi is a very handsome guy, but that said, he looked more like Frankenstein to me in this movie than he did in Frankenstein.
Oh man, he looked like an old ghetto ass British person. They show him like there's a moment where like he's like a damn soccer hooligan or something. He's all hairy. Later on in the movie he's got a gold tooth.
Yeah.
He got an earring he's like a British chav or something, man. Trying to look like he got class. But to get to what you were talking about, man, when they do start to get close, when things do start to get romantic with them, there he is in that rain again. God damn it! There's a moment that they could have done some of this stuff inside, but when they do start to get close later on in the film, after Heathcliff has his riches. And after she's married to somebody else who's rich, man, they're not nice people. As you said, they're very toxic. They're pieces of shit, really.
Yeah, they really are.
And a lot of the misfortune, you later found out, it's sort of you brought this shit on yourself situation. Because, and listen, it doesn't excuse the person who's kind of stirring up all this mess in this movie. You got this Svengali right here, Nellie, who's played by actress Hong Cho, who's great. And she's pretty, and she's really good in this. But Kathy did make Margot Robbie's character, Kathy did make a jab at this woman that went way too deep. Even I was like, God damn.
Yeah, you gonna say that to somebody who you live with, who's been taking care of you?
Yeah, she said something to her, and Nellie's like, okay, you with the wrong one. She's like, oh, I'm just a lonely servant. Okay, I'm gonna serve something, all right. Yeah, I couldn't, man. It doesn't excuse how, man, this bitch holds a grudge.
Yeah,
she holds a grudge for years. She didn't have to go that far with it. I was like, all right, you did it, but man, these people, you start to like not feel that sorry for them because they're crazy. They're
selfish.
They're selfish.
They're selfish on a psychotic level.
I was about to say, when you said they're selfish, I was like, nah, man, like, your boy is, he's psychotic, man.
Yeah.
Like, the levels they go to with him, he's off. He's insane. You can, listen, this goes way beyond love. It's like, girl, you better be glad you didn't get with him, because this is, he needs help. And like, if it wasn't love or a lack of it that was going to bring it out of him, it was going to be something else.
It's going to be something else.
Because that's how crazy this character is. And they just get weird. And it's not just crazy, it's cruel. It's cruelty that goes with the craziness.
Yeah.
They're torturers in a way. Like I said, I get that that's a message that's gonna that's not the message that's gonna reach people, because people are gonna see things like this. We're in the rain, do romantic things, and it's not gonna matter that damn, because it didn't matter with Christian Grey.
I feel like in this it's a little too obvious for any audience to just like overlook.
I would think that, but then they had this movie called 365 Days, and the dude is a flat out kidnapper and racist. And because he was,
rapist.
A rapist, probably racist too. I'm gonna put that in there. He's a rapist and he's a kidnapper, and women are like, oh, but he's so good looking. So
sure, but with that movie, what happens with the two of them happens between the two of them. Nobody else is affected. And here you're watching other people who are innocent get affected by these two assholes.
Man, I don't think it's gonna matter to audiences out there because they are really pitching this still as the greatest love story. People don't see the more romantic side than seeing this crazy ass and what they do. I'm just saying, a lot of people, I think they're gonna like these characters. I don't. I think that they're horrible, horrible people, and I think that they're insane. But whatever, man. There's some things I do like about this movie, and also I will say this: the insanity is what kept me into it.
Right.
Like this.
What will they do next?
Yeah, man. With Christian Grey, I was telling people, man, this dude is crazy. Nobody saw it. This dude is obviously crazy.
Yeah.
He's Christian Grey to the next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Christian Grey, I think there's enough that can be overlooked, and with Heathcliff, you can't overlook this.
I would love to. We'll see. I would hope so. I hope so.
Because I was like, this is not romantic at all.
No, it's not. It's they're weird. They are weird. They are weird, insane people who need some mental help. I don't have an ad.
Okay.
I do not. But if I did,
because you shot your shot already.
I already did. I wish you could get some better help. And even then, they'd be like, I can't do nothing with your crazy ass. No, they are both, and they go through. They put them, and because of their cruelty, they don't realize how it's self-inflicting for them.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever happens to them, I'm like, you know what? Y'all did this to yourself. Mm-hmm. I do not feel bad for y'all at all, man.
No, not at all.
There are terrible, horrible things that happen to them. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. You asked for it.
Yeah, live by the sword.
Yeah. But it's that craziness that actually brought me into the movie. I appreciate it. Because if this had been going down that traditional path that these other movies do, would not have been that into it. I'm like, man, okay, a love story with psychotic people?
Well, it is the thing because I started watching just like not clips, but just a little bit of some of the older adaptations.
Yeah.
And most of them, a lot of them are like miniseries. Like they're not trying to just do one movie, but it is a thing that's so antiquated. It's so steeped in that time period that it doesn't. This won't play to a modern audience. So this is a way to get that modern audience to, pay attention.
No, it is. It is. I'm telling you, I actually enjoyed this aspect of it, that it did go off the deep end like that they lost their goddamn minds. That kept me interested in the film. Also, I will say, in addition to being pulled into that part of the story, the more they descended into madness, the more I was drawn in by this. Because like you said, I just want to see how crazy they're going to get. Mm-hmm. But for me, I also think that this is one of the best looking movies I've seen this year. Very early. We're just in February.
Yeah.
But it's, that's why I was, again, saying that this is like reminding me of a Tim Burton movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like images like this.
Yeah.
But, this is this is one of the best movies I've seen, to the point where it is so good looking that it's such a gorgeous film. I found it distracting in a way, man, because this is a fantasy world. These characters are not living in Victorian times, man. This is a very fantasized, a fantasy version of Victoria era stories right here. There's a point where a guy, he loves Catherine so much that he has the walls made to look like her skin. People, these are not Victorian homes. This is a modern art museum.
Right.
This is because you look at the house that they're in, it's like, man, I don't know. Maybe Victorian people did live like this, but look at this, like sculptures of hands on the wall. This is what I'm talking about with Tim Burton. I'm like, the places these people live are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, how much money does her husband have? And matter of fact, what does he do for money?
He sells crazy art, probably. So much of it, it almost looks too well composed. You have shots that look like they were composed for a photograph. They're too well put together, like they're put together for a photo shoot. And because like we were talking about, like the Alice in Wonderland. There's a scene where Margot Robbie, she's hunched on the ground, and she's wearing a red dress, and the red dress is extremely bright and it's sprawled over this black and white checkerboard floor. And I'm like, okay, you know, scenes like that. I'm not saying it's taking me out the movie in a bad way, but I'm like, man, that's a photograph, you know, that somebody stopped to put together. These people didn't naturally, you know, they're posing. They're not acting so much.
Yeah.
Even when people die in the movie, they're sprawled out in the most stylish way and everything is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not, you know, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah. I don't think that's
It's
bad.
amazing looking.
Yeah.
It's an amazing look. I just enjoyed watching it. So I just got to a point where I didn't even care what was going on sometimes. I was like, man, this looks great. I was soaked into the beauty of this film, man. And I really loved it. You know, I also think some of the actors, some of the other actors are good in this. There was one girl, and I forgot the actress's name, but she was in Saltburn. That actress right there,
Yeah.
I believe she's in Saltburn. I like her, but her character is also weird, and almost in a way where it's comically weird.
Yeah.
And it was pushed slightly too comical for me.
Oh, really? Because I like the actress and her character throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't hate her, but I felt like she was really playing it up for laughs a little bit too hard. It was distracting to me, but you know, that's just me. Also, I love this actor here in it, man. This guy. See, he didn't forget his umbrella. Martin Clunes. He's great as the drunk, you know, the gambling addicted Mr. Earnshaw. That's his name in the movie. And I like his character because he just becomes a creature halfway through this. He just sitting in the shadows. Hello, Catherine. How do you find me?
But he was an ace at talking shit.
He sure was.
He was eloquent when talking shit.
and couldn't back it up. He was a gambler who lost all his money all the time.
Oh, he knew he was broke.
Yeah.
He'd tell you that, and then still tell you about yourself.
Yeah, he would, and then beat the shit out of you. Yeah.
Oh, are you ashamed to look at me?
Watch me pick up the coins you threw down for me. That's what you want, isn't it?
It's like, man, he got it.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, this fool. I love this character.
It should be his lowest point. He's got to pick coins up off the floor. He still finds a way to turn it around back on her.
He sure did. This old golem right here got into everybody's head.
Yeah.
That character's actually pretty great. He's despicable, man, but like Martin said, he talked some shit and he had everybody's mind twisted. Yeah, I like that character a lot, man. You can't tell by this picture, but yeah, he just turned into a damn monster.
Oh, yeah.
You know, man, listen, it's hard not to get sucked into as you know, the way this movie looks. Sometimes literally get sucked into view of fish. but you know, it's like I said, I really love the insane level that it went. It just doesn't feel real enough to me. It's more, I love the exaggerated parts of it. I love the look of it. I'm not invested in the characters. I'm more invested in just the insanity of it, the gorgeousness of it. You know, it's still like a low matinee to me. I think it's worth seeing. I mean, just the hard work for the cinematography alone, it just deserves to be seen on the big screen. I think, but that's me. Low matinee. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I don't know that I so much enjoyed this movie, but I did think it was beautiful and inspired. The director, Emerald Fennell, she really had a vision of what she wanted to do with this story. Now it's truncated and twisted and manipulated to just what she wanted to say, but hats off to her for doing it. If you're a fan of Wuthering Heights, this is not that faithful adaptation you thought you were going to get, adaptation you thought you were going to get. And if you were like, well, I want to see a really romantic movie, I don't think it's that either.
Yeah, that's where you talk about that this is missing you may be misled into the erotic parts, but you're also being misled on any kind of romantic part. This is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it seems like this director, has her thing, just like with Saltburn, just coming in these movies that are twisted, somewhat erotic, and more really twisted, almost for no reason, or at least more than they need to be.
He is like a vampire boy. You see that?
Yeah. There's so much. He's so vampire in this, especially the way Catherine will be doing something and turn. He's just right there, and it's like, we just saw you on the other side of the field. How are you doing this?
Yeah. Somebody said Black Twitter is hating on the movie because they say they whitewash Heathcliff.
Oh yeah, because in the story he's part or fully gypsy. And so that's
why he's wearing that earring in the movie and everything.
Yeah. So whitewashing that way.
Yeah.
Because she takes the two characters, the brother and the dad, and makes them one. Because originally the dad was actually cool, but it was the brother that hated him and used to beat him and treat him bad and call him Jippo and stuff. So yeah, that's what Black Twitter has to be, probably they're going off on. But I don't know, it's the kind of thing where like I didn't really, like I said, watching it, I wasn't enjoying it, but I was also appreciating it and all the things I said and pretty much everything you said, I fully agree with. And I myself was just like, when it comes down to it, I think this is it's a low matinee because the work is there, and if you come in at a certain perspective, I think it could really work for you. Yeah,
and this whole thing about whitewashing it, I don't agree with whitewashing. They say in the book he had dark skin. Or he described as having dark skin, no exact race.
But they didn't mean like a Moor.
No,
they said a gypsy.
He ain't black.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. Also, this is so different from the book. It don't matter, man.
Really.
And believe me, you don't want a person of color involved in this kind of relationship. Right. That fool is crazy. You don't want that kind of image for a person who's darker.
No. Who doesn't want a black man crazily obsessed with a white woman?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want people. Trust me. The best thing they could have done is make him white. Otherwise, he would have been looking like that black stereotype, lusting after a white woman. Ooh, white woman, why you make me crazy? He would have been Julie. No, I'm sorry. Wait, y'all didn't know you were still here.
I'll be quiet over here.
No, I didn't know you. How you doing, man? Well, there you go, y'all. Well, would you look at that? You made it to the end of the video. That means you really like us. So just go ahead and press that like button and subscribe while you're at it. And check out our other channels, our social media like Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon, where we have new stuff coming up all the time. And we'll see you on the next video.